guys, we're going to be working on our Incandius Contemptor Pattern Dreadnought today, and I haven't done anything since filming my last YouTube short where I basically painted all the silver in their lead belcher base coats and then did flesh shade, Rakeland flesh shade on all the gold. And for those of you who are interested in what the gold is, it's actually a 1-to-1 mix of lead belcher and retributor armor. So that's my gold recipe for this kind of bright shining gold. It actually looks a little bit brighter because of the Rakeland flesh shade. It's kind of dulled it down a little bit. But today we're going to be doing the transfer work, and if you've seen this guy on the Forge World, or rather the Games Workshop web store, there's some really cool looking transfers. I'm using the Blood Angels transfer sheet, the official Horus Heresy Blood Angels transfer sheet. It looks really good, and I've actually linked it in this video. You could get it through Target, and yeah, it looks really amazing. Some of these look so cool for like vehicles and banners. They just look terrific. But for our dreadnought, we've got this setup here. We'll just go through it one by one. I tried to link, you used to be able to link the microsol and microset, but for some reason they're not available through the YouTube store anymore. So I do have a little bit of leftover microsol. I can find it. Yep, there it is. So in the perfect world, we're going to get through the entire rest of this paint job. But for now, all I want to do is get transfers on, because I was thinking maybe I'll do the weathering first and then the transfers. And it's just not going to work out that way. So I want the weathering to actually look like it's affecting the transfers. So here's the first one. It's a really cool looking box of text. We're going to put this on the right leg, just like in the product description. Now, with using a Forge World transfer sheet, what I've noticed is that the transfers take a long time to get saturated enough to come off of the paper. So we're going to dip it one more time in the water. I'm going to put it in my wet palette here. Let it get a little bit loose. And then I'm going to use my tweezers to pick up the second transfer. And I think this is the best way to do it. While you're working on one, we're going to set up the second one. So this is just the word Baal. It's the planet, the home planet of the Blood Angels. So we're going to dip that, oops, sorry about that, dip that in the water. Let that sit on the transfer paper, or on the wet palette rather. And then I'm going to take the first transfer, which is his leg, and we're going to put this onto the Incandius Dreadnought. I've got my microsol right here. So we're probably going to let it sit for a little while and get nice and set onto the miniature, and then we'll put some microsol on. See if I can balance him on something so I'm not. It's going to be a little tricky to figure out. Yeah, if I can't do this, then there we go. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the transfer has gotten saturated enough at this point that it can slip off. Kind of give the fingernail test. Again, this is the official Forge World Legion transfer sheet for the Blood Angels. I linked it in this video, or in this live stream, so you can check it out yourself from Target, I believe. All right, so what I'm going to do, if you're not familiar with applying transfers to miniatures, you basically want to nudge the transfer kind of off of the paper. It's not very symmetrical. Okay, so it's starting to slide off really nicely. So I'm going to just, slide it onto the leg, and then as soon as it's on, I'm going to pull the transfer paper away. It's going to be a little crooked. There's going to be a little bit of bleed over. That's okay. While it's still wet and malleable, I'm going to dip my brush in some water and see if I can nudge it around to where I want it to be on the leg armor. I noticed in the product description on the Games Workshop web store, the skull is actually kind of like on this panel area, so I'm not too worried about it not being all completely on the leg armor. Just want to get into the spot, and then as it sets and the water dries and it gets kind of where I want it to be, then I'll apply the microsol. Right now what I'm just doing is pressing as much of the liquid or the water out from underneath the transfer, so it's not going to leave any weird folds or bumps in the design as it dries. Yeah, this is basically how to apply transfers onto a miniature. You want to look for any folds as you turn the miniature around in the light, and just use your brush to gently push any liquid out and make it flat if there's any folds in the transfer. It also helps if you have like a napkin or a paper towel to wipe the water that you press out, but I'm just like wiping it on my thumb to get the excess moisture out. All right. And again, if you're just joining us, these are transfers taken from the Blood Angels Legion transfer sheet. And there are 4 of these golden like text boxes, ones that I'm using on the leg armor. There's also these really cool looking painted ones that aren't just gold leaf, but for this one we're going to use the gold one. I'm also using the golden ball and 2 of this like really fancy 9th Legion symbols. The larger one for his the front of his shoulder pad, and then the smaller one for the side bar. I'm also using one of these, and I'm just basically following the Games Workshop web store product page. All right, so speaking of which, let's move on to the word Baal, and I'm going to be also prepping the next transfer, which is this fancy golden number 9. So basically I'm going to be putting it into the water, my paint water here, then I'm going to let it sit on the transfer paper, get soft, get ready to go, get more malleable, while I take the Baal transfer and apply that to this right shoulder pad. Let's zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to, again, take my paintbrush, and as I apply the transfer, I'm going to pull the transfer paper away. Put a little bit of water there first, just to soften it up. And here we go. This is such a cool model. It's a Contemptor pattern, or Contemptor Incandius pattern dreadnought. It's specific to the Blood Angels Legion, and it is mainly seen use in the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy. So if you're familiar with those timelines, they're not really seen in the modern 40K setting, and this is because they have this honkin' jetpack on the back, which allows it to be either dropped from low orbit and just like slam into the battlefield like the Kool-Aid Man, or to like do a jump pack attack where you can like make a leap off of the ground in the middle of the battlefield and land somewhere else, just like a jump pack. All right, the next one I'm going to be doing is this symbol, which is going to go on his left shoulder pad on the front. While that is getting soft on my wet palette. I'm going to take the golden numeral 9, and we're going to be applying this to the right shoulder pad. This is a resin model because it's a Forge World model. I'd actually purchased this a while ago, but with all of the excitement of 11th edition coming, I wanted to paint him up and see if he could find a good home on eBay while we get ready for 11th edition. So a little bit of water to start, which we're going to wick away as soon as the transfer goes on. Get the paper kind of lined up to where we want it to be. A little too much water. We just want it a little wet. We don't want it like flooded in the area. Ooh, nerve-wracking. It's like brain surgery. Right now that that's where we want it, we kind of just guide it to where we want it to be in the lower half, because the width of the transfer means that it won't fit if you get it too high up. We don't want it to fold over onto the side, so about there. Just press all that extra moisture out. Check the other ones. Yeah, that looks good. This guy looks good. In a little bit, we'll apply some microsol once it's had a chance to kind of adhere to the surface. The microsol, what that does is it melts the transfer paper. It makes it look like the transfer is not so much a sticker that we're putting onto the model, but more like it was just painted on. It's still going to have a little bit of the shine on it, but that's okay because we can get rid of that with some matte varnish. For now, we're just applying the transfer. All right, we're going to work next on that omega symbol. So while that is getting ready to go, I'm going to take the final transfer, which is another fancy Roman numeral 9 in gold, but I'm going to actually use a smaller one. We're going to place this guy onto the wet palette while we get ready with the second to the last transfer. This guy. It's going to go on the front. This looks so cool, man. All right, again, I got my transfer applying brush. Yeah, perfect, ready to go. So while pressing it onto the shoulder pad, I'm just going to pull away the paper. It's a little flooded right now. We're going to have to adjust it and wick away some of this extra moisture. But look at that. That looks so cool. I love transfer work. A lot of people don't mess with transfers, and I used to be one of those people. I used to want to hand paint everything or just leave these things blank. But since getting back into the hobby with more of a artist's mindset, I really wanted to use that knowledge that I was gaining to make my models just look better. And transfers are a fantastic opportunity, especially if you don't want to freehand a lot of this stuff. It's a great way to just get it done and have it look really nice, like it was, like how it was meant to be. Have it match like the artwork, and how they're described in the books. I've always thought that the blood angels in particular are really like beautiful, like aesthetically. The designs have to be really well done and thoughtful. And I'm not very good of a painter with the freehand, so I could never do it justice. But being able to use the transfer sheet takes a lot of that guesswork out. That's the last one. Just gonna adjust him because he's a bit crooked right now. The tricky thing with these smaller ones is just the wrong application. Like if you apply too much pressure in the wrong spot, the whole thing will move. But if you don't find that right spot to make it shift and adjust, then it's not going to move at all. So it's a little bit of a kind of cat and mouse game you're playing with your transfers there to make them look specific and exactly where you want them to be. There he is. All right, our model now has all of the transfers exactly where we want them. So what we're going to do now is zoom out just a little bit, and I'm going to get my microsol. Again, microsol, terrific product. Normally I would wait for the transfer to get a little bit more dry on the model, but I'm kind of at the end of my rope here with this model, so I want to just get it done. And I think I've pressed enough of the liquid out from under the transfer that it's not going to make too much of a difference. It won't float, the transfer won't float away. And again, this product is mainly going to soften the transfer and like make it dissolve. Microsol, it's called microsol, so it's like dissolving the transfer. But if you put too much, or if the water hasn't completely dried yet, then there's the danger that it's going to get up and float and adjust. So I'm not gonna flood the area with the microsol. I'm just gonna try to touch it and keep it like keep the transfer in as much of a correct positioning as I can. And then I'm gonna wick away the excess so that it doesn't get up when I'm not looking and float away into a different position. That's happened before where I've like applied too much microsol and then I've gone to sleep, and then the next morning like the entire transfer like shifted counterclockwise on the shoulder pad, and it just ruined the whole look. So I couldn't fix anything by then. It had already like dissolved onto the model. So you want to just make sure that that's one thing you take into account and be cautious of, that you don't put too much and that you've got it basically set where you want it when that microsol goes on. All right, moving on to the second one, this ball. I'm just going to press that microsol right onto it. Now the numeral 9. And this fancy omega sign. And finally, this other numeral 9. There. Now we're going to just let it rest. And while we're letting it rest, I'm going to start applying the known oil, which is a black wash. I'm going to apply that to the silver. It's going to make it look like some wear and tear, not Agrax Earthshade, maybe some Agrax Earthshade. I'll also do a little bit of like exhaust. burn later once more of the miniature has been painted. Alright, let's get started. I want to make sure that we don't touch any of the area of the model that has a transfer on it, because we don't want it to shift or move. Put the known oil on the side here. We're just going to go and give it this shade all in the silver bits. Now this is for like a Horus Heresy model, but if you don't play Horus Heresy, but you do play Blood Angels, I would suggest checking out that transfer sheet I've got linked in this video, because it's the Legion transfer sheet from 30K, but I'm sure you could use some of the more stylized looking iconography for your 40K miniatures. It's just such a great resource compared to a lot of the other Legion transfer sheets too. I think the Blood Angels one is very well done. I'm not going to worry too much if I get any where it's not supposed to be. I can always move it around later, by which I mean this wash. I can always move this wash around later, add more color, add more of the silver. One of the main problems is I don't want it to pool anywhere, so I'm constantly got to check to make sure that it's not pooling in any one area of the miniature, that I can take my brush and just move it around. You might have seen this guy on my YouTube and my TikTok, making some, oh my goodness, some videos about him lately, charting the process of painting him step by step. Not really doing a full-blown tutorial, but just talking through my process. And this is that Incandius jump pack that makes him, allows him to fly through the air, be deployed from low orbit, and just smash into whatever part of the battlefield he's being sent to, just like the Kool-Aid Man. Right, looks like all the silver is taken care of. And I'm not going to get too crazy. Oh, so sorry. I'm not going to get too crazy with the shading yet, but I'll do like a brief pass. Now's the part where I'm going to just kind of do a very light pass over the entire miniature that's not got a transfer on it. I usually start with my Blood Angels with the Agrax Earthshade pass, but I'm going to start with the known oil one this time, just because it's a larger model. It's got a larger footprint, and I want to get this darker shading out of the way first. And again, the trick is a lot of control, so you make sure that the color doesn't alter too much. It's not going to pool in any area. And I'm going to use like the middle part here of his power fist as like a staging point for the wash. I'm just going to Swish it around. Try not to let it pool in any area. Get it all over. The worst thing, the worst feeling in the world is doing the wash section, the wash part of the process of painting, and then going away and then coming back to see like a large unsightly pool of wash in any one area. So I want to kind of mitigate that just by keeping my brush moving. How are you guys out there? Let me know what you're working on, what kind of armies you've got in the cooker. You excited for 11th edition? I'm excited just because it's every edition brings a new, feeling, a new focus, revs the community up to figure out the best way to work the system. And I've been collecting since 2nd edition. I haven't played as much 40k as I would like, but I do love to paint. Painting's kind of my thing, and I do love the universe, the setting. So yeah, let me know what you're working on, and if I could help in any way, I would love to. And being careful as I get to any of the transfer areas where I want the wash to be there to shift the color, but I don't want to get in the way of the microsol as much. Doesn't that look great? Oh, it looks so cool. That looks really fantastic. All right, now we're going to let that dry, but we're going to maintain constant vigilance over it so that we don't allow any pooling of the wash in any area, especially looking at all of the flat areas, flat armor plates. If you guys see any, please call it out so I don't miss it. Like there, we don't want any pooling. Down there at the bottom. Oh, he looks terrific. Now thinking ahead for basing, what I'm going to do is use my normal Geek Gaming ready to go scenic basing, and I usually use like a grimdark black rocks for my basing, and sand, black rocks. This is what it looks like in the container. So imagine just this over the entire base, and it's a good way to have the model pop, you know what I mean? Like any color, especially this vibrant red, is going to pop nicely off of black. But I think what I might do, and let me know what you think as well, I might do this for the basing, which is more of like a grassy, rocky, like highland looking mixture. So that might be what I do for the base. Just because it's a larger base, there's going to be lots of room for extra rocks and all of that stuff. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Should I do rocks or grass? Or I'm sorry, like black lava rocks or that vibrant grass. All right, he's looking good. We're going to keep monitoring any areas where the wash is pooling, like here on the hip, there on the front. Just move it along, no oil, move it along. There, this is always a part where, like on vehicles, these longer, what the heck? These like larger flat surface areas are always prone to getting some pooling. So I want to just make sure we zhuzh it around is a scientific term. Because gravity always drags it down, right? Drags the weathering and the streaking and everything down. So let's make sure that it is moved around. What is that? Maybe I can turn that into like some battle damage or something. With this, we don't want any pooling. A lot of this stuff, I'm like, what is that? What is that guy? Who is that? What is that? All right, to the one person currently live in the chat, thank you for hanging out. I hope you're enjoying this video of the Incendious Pattern Contemptor Dreadnought. We just applied the transfers, which were from the Blood Angels Legion transfer sheet. We applied known oil black wash, and I'm about to apply Agrax Earthshade specifically to the silver areas to show, to imply like oil. Agrax Earthshade looks really nice on red armor as well, but I don't know if I'm going to do too much of it because I've already got the known oil down. And if anything, I might use it to like deepen the shading down here on the undercarriage, but not get too crazy with it. I'm mainly just going to be using it for adding some shifting tones to the silver area. Give a hint of like brown grease and grime streaking through the joints. If you want to go even more brown, color I like to use is Seraphim Sepia. Seraphim Sepia gives you a really nice, greasy, oily tone because it's a lighter brown. It's not as dark brown as Agrax Earthshade, and it has more of an oil look. Lynx Lord, hey buddy. Good morning to you, my friend. Good to see you. I recently came into acquisition of a number of Space Wolves. I'd won it in an auction on eBay, so I might try to see if I could paint them up. What's interesting is that the Armageddon lore on the Warhammer community website really emphasizes that the starter box, even though it's focusing on Blood Angels, it mentions that Marnius Calgar is the one who answers Yarick's distress call for reinforcements. So he's like trying to get all of the Space Marines that he can together, and lo and behold, which chapters are the primary like ones that answer his call? The Space Wolves and Black Templars, which are also like the best-selling ranges for Space Marines, like the combat patrols and stuff. It's like, oh, Space Wolves and Black Templars. Are you excited for 11th, or are you just like meh? A lot of people are like meh. They're not going to be like bamboozled by all of the like the DACA rig and the war track. Not much going on with the Space Marine side. Oh yeah, I guess like the land speeder. I feel like a lot of those Vanguard veterans are going to go up for sale. No son of us would use the new stuff. Yeah. I was like planning on doing more reveal videos, but I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's worth my time like watching the entire live stream to parse out like the valuable bits for a video that's just like everybody's seen everything already, and I think there are people who know far more than I do of the game. I would just be like taking it from a painter's perspective. Like as a painter, how do I feel these new kits are? Yeah, not really the Marines. Me too. Man, that Agrax Earthshade is doing work. Pull it down, pull it down. I just think it's interesting that they specifically wrote in the in the Warhammer community article that like, oh yeah, in particular the Space Wolves and the Black Templars are heeding the call along with the Blood Angels. Yeah, of course the Blood Angels because they're in the new box. But oh yeah, Space Wolves and Black Templars are pretty prominent too. And I'm like, what about my Iron Hands? What about my Raven Guard? How come my Raven Guard don't get any love? Could you imagine if the starter box was some like random obscure chapter like the like the Silver Snakes or the Exorcists, the Mantis Warriors? All right, I feel like there's not too much more I can do while waiting for the washes to dry here. So let's see what else is on my plate while that dries a little bit. I have a ton of backlog. Like since I've been able to get more painting time at night, I've got a ton of things that I want to get painted and put up on eBay. It's funny because the wolves were already there from another campaign, so did they leave to return when called? Like, we just left, and then you came back. You left and then realized, oh, it's not done. The war is still on. Oh, okay. I thought we were finished. All right, we'll let this guy hang out for a minute. One of the other projects I'm working on is this Nemesis Claw kill team, so let's get that guy. Let's get those guys out. New Orcs land just as we worked. Damn. The Space Wolves are like, is everybody good? Is everybody cool? Are we cool? Can we go off and return back to Fenris and get back to drinking and hanging out? He's like, okay, we're out of here. Whoa. It's like, oh, Space Wolves, you gotta come back. It's like the end of Back to the Future. Hello, Freddy. So I've done half of the kill team. What I've thought of doing was finishing all of the quote-unquote normal guys before I went and I attempted doing the specialist guys in the kill team. So I did the ones that are just like regular legionnaires, and then I started attempting the 5 specialist guys. So the first one here was he's like the screamer or the shrieker or whatever. Mostly using the Nemesis Claw kill team box, using that red hand from the Legion, Night Lord's Legion transfer sheet. And now we're gonna move on to the rest. I've got the Ventriloquar, which I think it's funny that they have like ventriloquists talking with their banner. Hello, I just flew in from Denver and boy are my arms tired. And I think this guy is called it's like the Poisoner. The leader, which is called, I think, the Visionary. Been working on his flesh cape. Can add build up those colors a little bit more. And then this guy with the double-handed chain glaive, which is called a Skin Thief. This is a Skin Thief. It's kind of fun. Where's my Bugman's Glow? I don't even know what day is it. Thursday? We're almost to the weekend, lads. We can zoom out a little bit. Alright. There's my wet palette, just to show you how I do build up the colors. I'm going to start with straight Bugman's Glow. I'm going to be pretty messy with it. So many people are playing Kill Team now. It's great. It's less of a commitment than going into like straight 40k for new people, or if you like are curious about the game but you don't want to invest so much. That's how like Blood Bowl and Necromunda used to be too. If you're curious about the game, it was a much lower entry point financially than buying a 2,000 point army. This is very watery. I think I can add a little bit more paint. Might as well just look at all these other folks with flayed skin. Let's assembly line all the flayed skin. Okay, this guy's already got his cape a little highlighted up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some Wraithbone to this Bugman's Glow here, and we'll do a quick dry brush, or layer brush rather. It doesn't look like much of a dry brush. Sorry, the dog I'm taking care of turned off the internet, so I heard nothing you said. Oh, yeah, no worries, no worries. How did the night go? I've got all of the Bretonian knights that I've been painting up in honor of my channel members, and I want to actually build like a diorama for them. I've got them. I think they're in my downstairs, like they're in a box downstairs. Looks great. Thank you very much, the Nerd Zone. But yeah, I'm trying to get us like a series of videos together for doing the like the actual core box of the old world, because I know a lot of people out there are looking for Bretonian videos, like painting tutorials and stuff, and I love the Bretonians. I love painting them. I love painting them in honor of my channel members. That's also, if you're new to my channel, or for those of you who are not familiar with it, I offer my channel members the option. It's totally optional. You don't have to do this if you decide to become a channel member, but you can have a Bretonian Knight of the Realm painted in colors that you specify. And my original intention when I started this whole endeavor was to do like a video commercial thank you kind of shout out thing, where I would have all of my channel members' knights lined up on the table in front of me. And I still want to do that. It's been more of a question of time, like finishing everyone's miniatures and then getting the necessary things ready to do it. But yes, I've been working on it. Oops, sorry about that. And I want to continue on with that. My lady boss, my wife, has kind of been like, if it's not like a commission or something for the eBay store, then like paint other stuff first, so we can afford groceries, kind of stuff. Can't wait to see how mine turned out. Yes, I know. I've got like yours and a couple of other people's that are like always at the front of the queue. Anytime I work on the nights, it's like, okay, Link's Lord, I can, like, the longer people are supporting my channel, like the more detail I can add, like cross hatching and quartered colors and stuff. It's just so much fun to figure out, like to upgrade people's paint jobs over time. All right, it's been a while since I've worked on these, so let me double check. Okay, brown leather for the holsters, black for the straps, black for the webbing, black for, okay. All right, let's check how our Blood Angels Dreadnought is doing. Shiny. In a little while, we'll give him a little bit more time to dry, and then I'll put the micro sol on all of the transfers, dissolve those bad boys onto the model. Ooh, look at that pool. Look at that. The great thing too, if any of this like really pools badly and has an ugly finish, then you can just go back over it with Mephiston Red. I think that's the great thing. A lot of people have like paralysis when confronting like miniatures that they don't want to mess up, and I say yeah, I know Link's Lord. I'm like, these people are supporting me actively month after month after month, but I think she's more like just looking for like an immediate, if I paint this and put it up and sell it, then money goes immediately into the bank account. But I know. I don't want to argue too much with her, but I do have like the whole box of knights in. I'm actually like going to like film the like the commercial, the cinematic commercial against some backdrops that I've purchased. So like the whole project is kind of like a hush hush thing that I'm building in secret to say thank you to my channel members. You know, like you can just fix any mistakes that you make, and a lot of new painters have this feeling that like if they don't immediately paint as well as what they see on the White Dwarf or on the box cover, then I think that's why a lot of people don't paint their armies. Like they just stop. They're afraid of not reaching the full potential of their miniature. But somebody wrote a good comment to me on a video where I was talking about like White Dwarf or Golden Demon winners. This that we will argue with it, I'm sure. And somebody was like, "Perfect is the enemy of done." And I'm like, that should be written on every box that Games Workshop sells. Perfect is the enemy of done. Just paint your models, get it done, get the practice in, and the more you do it, the faster it'll take, the easier it'll become. So I'm a huge proponent of just painting your minis. Paint your minis as fast, well, maybe not as fast, but get a rhythm going, you know, and get it done so that you can have a finished miniature, even if it's not perfect by your standards. Just get it done. All right, we're going to add the micro sol now. And again, if you're a Blood Angels player, you're like, what are those transfers? These are from the Legion transfer sheet that I've linked in this video. It's a Blood Angels Legion transfer sheet. There are a couple of really terrific looking designs that fit the Blood Angels aesthetic. They're really stylized and intricate embroidery and everything. I mean, just look at this banner. Look at these banners and these stickers for the transfers for like vehicles. They look so cool. All right. So taking a little bit of microsol, I'm going to just dab. And wick away. Dab and wick away. I've already done one application of microsol. I usually try to do two to get it like totally melted on. And that's not going to take away the shine. They're still going to be shiny, and that's why I put the matte varnish on afterwards. I was also digging through some of my old stuff, and I found that like the dwarf battalion that I'd started painting in the colors of Barak Var, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta finish that one too. So many projects. I'm really trying to like amp up production in my studio, get more stuff on the eBay store, get more content out for my viewers, and try to appeal to as many people as possible, because 11th edition is coming. It's coming, boys. You want to be ready. All right, let's get on to the silver lead belcher. Actually, you know what? I'll do a little bit of this ventriloquist. I know, that's why. I'm telling you, that's why I started it. All right, here we go, the ventriloquist. So, what I'm doing with this guy is just straight Rakarth flesh, thin down on my wet palette. It's funny, if you've, I don't think you could see it, like if you've never built this guy before, if you're not a Night Lords player, if you've never assembled this Nemesis kill team, but if you can see, his back is flayed open. His back is flayed open, and like his spine is like exposed. It's so cool. It's so gross and so cool. And nobody sees it. Like, you're not meant to see it. It's one of those hidden details because he's glued like directly to the banner. But yeah, his skin is literally like peeled back. And I'm like, oh, Games Workshop. Games Workshop. I was not aware that you still had this sort of game. Everything is so sterile and tame nowadays. Yeah, you can't even see it. Like, you can only tell if you are actually assembling this thing and you clip it off of the sprue and you look at it and you're like, oh, this man's back is completely split, flayed open. Yeesh. All right, I can zoom back out. I think that's quite enough for that. Now, about after I do like the Bugman's Glow, I add a little bit of Wraithbone, Rakarth Flesh. What I do is add a little more, so it's almost completely Wraithbone with a little bit of pinkish skin underneath. Magnificent Barakvar, huge bronze gates with verdigris, Mediterranean soil bases. Yep. Yeah, I love doing the bases for my dwarves. I love seeing the greenery contrasted with the color schemes of their uniforms. There's so much character. I love painting the old Warhammer Fantasy stuff. Or excuse me, the old world. Warhammer, the old world. Like, I love painting the minis. They have so much like character. It's funny, they have so much character, but now Cities of Sigmar is like dripping with details. Yeah, the Cities of Sigmar stuff is, I think not everybody, but a lot of people were expecting something similar to the old Empire miniature range, and they're just so much more dense with detail, which is fine. But if you really want to paint your miniatures, it just takes that much longer to get them on the table, you know? Oops. Nice. And push so long. How long does it take to paint one figure? It depends on how detailed the figure is. Like I was telling Lynx Lord, a dwarf, a Warhammer Fantasy dwarf, I could paint that guy up in like 20 minutes. Base coat, wash, apply, transfer, like done. And they're small and they're so easy to see. Like, oh, here's some sleeves, here's some legs, paint the chainmail, do a quick wash of known oil or some other color. Just paint the beard very simply. You don't have to worry about dotting the eyeballs or doing crazy expressions. And they're so easy to assemble too. The old Warhammer Fantasy miniatures were so easy to assemble. Now it takes like hours over like multiple nights to assemble a unit of like Free Guild Fusiliers or Free Guild Cavalry. Yeah, it depends on how detailed you want to get, how much time and effort you want to spend, and it's really up to you. Some people also they find a way to speed through their paint jobs. they'll use contrast paints or other quick painting methods, which is fine too. I'm not a huge fan of contrast. I always feel like contrast minis look rushed, but it's totally up to you, and it does save a lot of time. So I'm not talking bad about contrast paints. Like I definitely see the need and the value. It's just for me, I've been painting since like the mid '90s, so I'm used to doing things a certain way. What's my most detailed paint job? I painted a Ogre Kingdom's Thunder Tusk that I'm really, really proud of. In fact, you know what? It's downstairs. I'll go get it. I'll show it to you. Back in Warhammer Fantasy in the old world, the ogres were known as mercenaries. So they weren't just in their own tribes. They would like hire themselves out to like orcs and goblins or the Empire sometimes. Well, I saw a great video on army types. Oh, okay, Dawi being elite army, so the Longbeards hammers have a load. They do, yeah, especially because they were the new sculpts. They do have a lot of details, and yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about those. They're going to take a little bit longer to paint, especially if you want to get all those details with the color in between the embroidery on the shield. But here is my most detailed paint job. It's an Ogre Kingdom's Thunder Tusk. Let's move these Night Lords out of the way real fast. And it's a mercenary. I wrote a whole story about them. They're the Brothers Baglump. And they are riding into battle. And they've got a little Bretonian here. I just noticed this too, or not just noticed this, but when I was painting it, I was like, this Bretonian musician, his drumsticks have frogs on the end. That's hilarious. I use like ice effects on the tusks. I put ice on the base. And I wanted them to be from Altdorf. So there's a lot of red and blue. There's a, like I got a spare bucket to make a helmet for this guy. I gave him a feather and a little laurel shield there. I put blood effects on this, whatever monster tongue this is. Got an Orcan, got a chicken, snack saving for later. Oops. Yeah, this thing is so big. Got a vulture looking at this guy. He's like, oh no. And this vulture's like, oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah, a lot of fun. Bretonian helmet there. Arrows, little pot. It's a little dusty. I'm gonna have to brush them off. Some ribs, another chicken, crossbow, and then I put the twin-tailed comet of Sigmar on top because why not? I wanted them to look like they were fighting for the humans, for the Empire as mercenaries, but they're really just doing their own thing. Well, it's only right that we look appropriate. We look dapper. Yep, the newest stuff looks so good. The gyrocopters and the gyrobombers. I love that this miniature, like he's picking his teeth with his arrow, like he's got some meat stuck in his teeth. I also use a lot of great techniques for the time that I painted it, like doing red, adding red to the bottom lips, adding blue to the bags under the eyes to give them sunken in looks, painting the eyeballs so that you can actually see where they're looking. Like a lot of stuff that I'm really, really pleased and proud of. This is one of my favorite miniatures that I've ever painted. It's been in my collection a long time. I don't even have an Ogre Kingdom's army. Just wanted to paint something That looked really cool. And I'm probably going to have to sell it on eBay because times are hard, you know, times are what they are. So I don't know, what would you pay, or what would you think is a reasonable price to charge? I'm thinking something like 300 maybe, little dog following. He's like, ooh, snacks. Yeah, his wooden hat bucket. I'm thinking maybe like 300, 349 maybe for this. It's a great statement piece. I think I added a lot of details. I gotta zoom out even more, I think. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. What would you think would be a reasonable price that I could charge on eBay? Like, I hate to give them up, but yeah, we're at the point where I gotta start making some money. No clue, don't work well with USD. Yeah, no worries. I don't know. I'm still gonna have to sit and think on this. I've got a couple other Stonehorn Thunder Tusk boxes, so it's not like once I sell this guy, I can never remake him. It's just, you know, it was a fever dream that I had, that I would make this look like these two guys are like working for the Empire right now. Thank you very much. I love the art part of this. When I was a kid and I first got into this hobby, I was like in middle school, high school maybe. I just wanted to play the game. I loved the game so much that I didn't really care. Like, I love the game part of it. Look what other painters take currently. Yeah, I think like people paint this, but they do like a very sloppy job of it, and very bare minimal like base coat and shade, and then they sell it for like 99 bucks. And I'm like, I don't think I could let go of it for 99 bucks. Like, the amount of time and effort I put into it, it's more of like a statement piece. Yeah, it depends on how many hours you spend painting. I don't think I could charge hourly though, because I'm a perfectionist. So like, I could spend like so many hours, but if I was like, oh, I'll charge $20 an hour, then it'd be like, no one's gonna pay $1,000 for this. I know I spent so much time. The assembly, the build, the painting, all of the extra weathering effects and basing effects. This was like definitely one for the books. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll double check eBay and see what it's gone lately for. But yeah, when I got back into the hobby after I was a kid, then that's when I wanted to make art, not just pieces to play with. I wanted to like achieve textures and effects, and I wanted to make artwork that was like 3D, that you could pick up and move around. You know what? I loved making the vulture because it's like I put a pole arm from, I think, a Demigriff Knights box. Yeah, I totally raided my bits box to make this thing, and I laid it across them. So this is like a halberd, like a pole arm, and then I just placed the vulture like he's sitting on top, and he's looking at this poor guy. And looking back, I realized if they're going to be from Altdorf, I should have put him in different colors, but maybe he's just an Altdorf soldier that they don't like. I love painting the blue for Altdorf. The red and the blue is like such a cool contrast. The red is nice and warm. The blue is very cool and cold. And the contrast when you highlight both of them up. This is using a lot of the old range too. I don't think this was Retributor armor. I think this was the old gold color from the previous range called Shining Gold. I don't know. I have to look back and think about it. I love this little rotisserie chicken. So funny. Anyways, yeah, so going to be selling him hopefully soon, and make some money off of that. I'll be right back. Let me see if there's anything else I can find. I am in a bit of a financial pickle. I had a not a bad accident, but this past weekend I got into an accident and just having to fix the car and but nobody wants to hear about that. So, yep, painting. You know what's funny? Painting is like such a stress relief for me. It makes me happy. It makes me mentally like calm down and reset my brain, and it's really good for my mental health. So hopefully I can continue trying to make money enough that I can become a full-time content creator, yada yada yada, all that stuff. Hey, Atomic Murph. Thank you, Atomic Murph. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome and goodbye. Have a great day. It's almost 7. You must be on the East Coast. Heading out to work. All right, we're going to hit this thing now with the matte varnish. This is just for the transfers. I'm not even done painting all the highlights on this guy yet, but just for the transfers. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it was happening one of the nights I was trying to drive for Uber Lyft, and I was on a dark stretch of the road, and this tree just fell on my car. I checked my blind side to make sure that I could cross, and while I had my neck turned, it just fell onto my car, and it cracked the windshield, gave me a big fright, but I'm okay. I was all by myself, so nobody else was in the car, nobody else was injured. It's just put a huge damper on things because it's taken my car out of commission, so I can't do like Uber and Lyft, like rideshare, to earn some extra money. And yeah, it's just, you know, it is what it is. So getting back, like focusing now on the miniatures again is totally okay. What am I doing using my painting brush to apply matte varnish? I usually have a separate brush for doing that. Oh yeah, those West Coast trees are hazardous. I used to live on the West Coast near Seattle. The cop who was taking my information and my statement and stuff, he said they call them widow makers. At night when you can't see and you're driving, it's like super dangerous. So everyone be careful out there. Here's the one I use. Matte varnish is so good. I don't know why I was sleeping on this product for so long. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you should matte varnish your transfers. It takes the shine down. I was like, yeah. But then once I actually did it and I see like how much it tones down the shine, it really makes it look like these icons are like painted on or like lasered on. It's fantastic. Without it, you could see where the transfer is. Like you could see the outline, the cutout. But once this matte varnish dries, it just totally makes it look legit. Yeah, so what do you guys think of 11th edition, the box, the big box? I feel like I'm going to have to get one just to do painting videos. But I'm excited about the orc stuff. I remember the orc war track from Gorka Morka back in the day. I don't know if it was actually in like the game Warhammer 40k itself. I remember Gorka Morka being where I remember the war track. I remember the old war track too. I bought one. Yeah, I used to have one. It was like the orc driver in the front was the poses and the expressions, and it's really come a long way. You look at those old models and it's like, how did those even like pretend to function? But it's like, oh yeah, they're orcs. They just believe that it works, and it works. Like, it looks completely ridiculous. That's the limitations of miniatures back in the 90s. Yeah, why the orcs might be sellable, but I'm not sure how well the SM will. Yeah, I know. So many people are going to be selling them online. So the known oil in the Agrax Earthshade has dried. What I'm doing now is re-highlighting all of the red, and I'm using this diagonal paint stroke to give it some depth and some interesting like brush strokes. If anyone cares to actually look up close, they'll see these fine multiple brush strokes. And try to leave a little bit of it in the recesses. This is my favorite part because you don't have to paint highlights as much as base coats. You know, base coats, you gotta make sure you cover all of the model, but highlights are really where you can pick and choose. You can use your creativity. Lynx Lord, did you say your house or your dog sitting? Left side and then right side. When I was first getting back into the painting side of the hobby, they had just released oil, or not oil, but the washes. In the old paint range, known oil was called Badab Black. My written is American outside is the USA. Quite in a bad way currently. Yes, for a friend. That's really cool. That's really cool. Do you have dogs also, or is the dog your only animal in the house right now? All right, so this is a wide armor plate. So let me explain what my process is here. I'm starting at the center. I'm building up some color. I want to see where I can take the color to the edge. Just kind of playing with the color, seeing where it goes, letting it have the freedom to do whatever it wants. Again, this diagonal stroke is what's really informing my my color placement here. The great thing about this diagonal brushstroke, this feathering, is that you can always add more paint. You can stop and lay off and just feather the edges so that it blends more. But when I start at the center here, it's like, oh, it's a pop of color. and whichever direction I take it, it's okay to taper off. Once I'm done with all of this feathering highlights, pumping the color back up, then I'm going to actually go back in and highlight the hard edges. Rin is wife. Ah, okay. I realized why she's Germany visiting family. Cool. So again, I'm finding the middle of the area I want to paint, and I'm laying the paint down there, and then I'm just feathering it out. Like I know I want to paint most of this underside of the bathtub of this dreadnought body, so I'm going to just lay down one diagonal stripe right near where the center is, and then just feather out in either direction. I love the shape of the Contemptor bathtub body. I think it is so cool. I remember when Forge World first was releasing these minis. Like the Contemptor was such an iconic profile compared to the boxy dreads that we were all used to at the time. There we go. I get you are busy with what sells, but can we get an update on the night soonish? No stress. Oh yeah. Yes, I will. It's also going to help me too because hopefully it will inspire other people to um, consider becoming channel members. But yeah, I'll get the nights that I have painted out to do like a little like parade. Definitely. And thank you, Links Lord, and all of my channel members who watch this after the fact, after this is live. Thank you for supporting me and continuing to support my studio. I know I've been like kind of slow with the content, with everything, all of my personal issues, trying to make money, trying to survive and live as a content creator. But thank you guys. I'm gonna try to be posting a lot more as we're gearing up for 11th edition and all of the new releases. The great thing about being a collector as well as a content creator is like I've got a lifetime's worth of product, miniatures and bins and boxes, and so much that I can talk about and review and film or share, like that ogre thunder tusk. So I will never run out of stuff to make content over. It's actually just a question of time. Great, no worries. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Lord. All right, we're getting like near to the end of the great thing also about highlighting. If any of you feel like, oh, this is such a daunting thing to highlight after you've shaded, I used to just give up after I would shade in the old school Badab Black. I would just be like, that's fine. That's fine. I would do a BL tan green shade for all of my orcs and goblins and be like, okay, that's fine. I would never highlight. I would just base coat and shade because it was like talent in a bottle, they called it. I want to get into painting, but it's really expensive where I live. Yep, I can definitely see that. My suggestion would be find what you want to paint. Like, what army do you want to paint? And then just consider getting a couple, like maybe a box of miniatures. Are you in Australia, Karen? Get like a box or two of miniatures that you can practice because that's all it really takes. And then get like the bare minimum of paints that you would need so that you don't have to go crazy. Turkey. Now I just feel old. I've been here since the Vostroyan days. Oh man, those berserker dwarves. Avatars of War. Yeah, I was just talking about the Vostroyans to my wife. I was like, hey, you remember Vostroyans? And she was like, yes. Because she was like, I was living with her already when I did that Vostroyan project. That was my first painting project, living away from home. I had been living with her. She was my girlfriend at the time, and we had moved in together to try it out. And yeah, that was setting up the Vostroyans. She'd be like seeing me painting them every night for that project. So much fun. They don't even bring most of the armies. Oh, Etsy or eBay are great. The Nido! Yeah, 3D printing has really changed the game and made it so much more affordable. Unless you're worried about not being able to enter your minis into like official tournaments, I would say yeah, start with 3D minis. Find the army you like and see what is available on Etsy or eBay or anything like that. I found a bunch of Vostroyans that I hadn't painted that I had acquired around the time that I did that project and just kind of sat in bins, like the snipers. I've got a plasma gunner. Can't believe they're re-releasing them now, after, like when I have zero extra funds for like a limited time, right? Limited run. All right, and it looks like that matte varnish is doing work, toning down the shine. Like, look at that. Oh, it still looks like it's got a little bit of shine to it, but this one omega symbol looks like it's been like lasered on. It looks so good. So we'll just paint around it. We'll apply this highlight. Join a Discord or similar group where you can ask questions and get inspired. Yep. Do you remember back in the day before Discord when you would go to Cool Mini or Not? All right. My triad for painting any kind of red armor is Mephiston Red, shaded with Agrax Earthshade and Known Oil, then re-highlighted with Mephiston Red, then Evil Sun Scarlet. My Instagram is filled with figure painting vids. Yep, Instagram is great. Evil Sun Scarlet, and then Wild Rider Red. It is like the perfect triad for painting red armor. Or for highlighting. Sorry. Sometimes I bump my my tripod thing. It's not even a tripod. It's like it's a camera mount. So good. I love it when you're painting something and you're starting to see the finish line. You guys know what I mean? It's such a like runner's high. You guys want to have a good brush with a good tip if you're going to be doing like edge highlight work. Already just posted this. Ah, nice 20-year-old dryads, fantastic. I'm iffy about the Vestorians after they changed the lore from firstborn. So I know. They need to force it in every single aspect of the hobby now. Thank you. I'm 45 years old. Man, Vestorian firstborn sons was such a vibe. It's like, oh no, now every firstborn child can be like, why you gotta take that from me, man? The only way I'll accept it is if they sculpt a female Vestorian with a ridiculously fake mustache on her face. Then I'll be like, okay, all right, you're good. Such a touchy subject too in these crazy world that we live in now. Hey, speaking of crazy world we live in, I don't know if you guys saw, I made a video because I had this weirdest Mandela effect where I really remember Matt Ward spelling his name with one T, M-A-T, Ward, and nobody else remembers that but me. And I'm like, I remember that because I used to read the old White Dwarfs and think like, that is such a stupid way to spell Matt. Like I had a friend whose name was Matt and he spelled it like normal, M-A-T-T. And every time I would read an article or something by Matt Ward, I would see that he spelled his name with one T and I'd be like, I hate that name. M-A-T. But I don't know, I guess I misremembered it. Nobody else remembers Matt Ward spelling his name with one T like that, just me. Like, oh no, I'm from a different timeline. I'm from the timeline with cornucopias on the Fruit of the Loom labels, where they spell Berenstain Bears like Berenstein Bears. I know basically nothing about the lore. You don't get inspired by lore. I gotta get going, brother. All right, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I used to love it more. I used to love reading the lore and used to love reading the books more than I do now. Now it's like I don't have the time. I am a father of toddlers. My brain is only reserved for Miss Rachel songs now. That's all I have the bandwidth for. Looking pretty good. I'm 35. See you in the Dow, sure. You're O2. What are you doing in this live stream, youngster? This live stream is for old grumpy men who want to complain about their hobby. All right, and the final, the creme de la creme, the apex of this triad is Wild Rider Red. This I want to be a little bit more selective, only try to stick to like points and the hardest edges. This is not a new technique, but this is what I like to call the pop highlight. This is the one where like it really catches the eye if you do it correctly. You don't want to overdo it. I do not wear glasses. I am naturally nearsighted. So I actually need glasses to see far away. But looking at Warhammer miniatures, painting details and stuff, that is not a problem for me whatsoever. Played and painted since I was 12. Yep, me too. It's nice to see being able to continue with your hobby for so long. Yep. Will you paint over the golden parts? No. I might highlight them with silver. I haven't decided yet. I should. I mean, you shouldn't just leave. Like the gold has been washed with Rakeland Flesh Shade to give it a reddish tinge. But yeah, I think I will go over a little bit with Runefang Silver. You highlight gold with a bright silver to give it the optical illusion of it reflecting light. So I will do a little bit of that. Oh, too silly. We're not Liberator Gold. You know, I've never had a Liberator Gold that works for me. Like they always last like just a little while. So my homemade bathtub Liberator Gold is yeah, I'll probably use that actually. I'll use that first and see if it still needs a little bit of oomph. But my homemade Liberator Gold is Retributor mixed 1-to-1 with Leadbelcher. It works great. It looks just like Liberator Gold, but it has more of a, I don't know, it has more character to it. I don't know how to describe it. I'll show it to you. You can see it for yourself. All right. How fast the paint dries? Pretty quickly. pretty quickly. If you're working on a squad, then by the time you finish painting one area and you go all the way down the rest of the squad, by the time you get to the first miniature, it will be dry, usually. All right, let me show you. Let me show you this wonderful concoction. Half and half Retributor and Lead Belcher. I start with Lead Belcher because it's easier to get unwashed Lead Belcher into the Retributor armor. Or not easier, but it's more forgiving than getting gold into your silver. So when I mix the paint, I have the two separate paints, and then they meet in the middle. That way you can drag from either side to adjust or to add, instead of just pouring one on top of the other and mixing. Yeah, washes take longer for sure. Yeah, this is my homemade Liberator Gold, and I think it has a little bit more like of an interesting look to it. This guy looks so cool. Let me see if I add the Rune Fang steel in there, see what that looks like. Yeah. It'll make like a super Liberator Gold. Yeah, interesting. It's like a highlight to Liberator Gold. I'm at the point where I have metal paintbrushes and normal paintbrushes. Yep. Yeah. And I'm at the point now where I like, if I'm painting gold or silver, I will just change the paint water afterwards. I used to not care about that, but now I'm like, I gotta change it, otherwise I'm gonna have flakes in my wash. I don't want to use too much of it. I think I'm just gonna go straight. Yep, that's smart. I think I'm gonna go straight Rune Fang Steel. I get it. I get it. I get it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Say no more. All right, Lynx Lord, I'm gonna leave it up to you, man. Basing. Volcanic black volcanic rocks, my standard, my normal 40K my normal 40K basing. Look like he's on a futuristic moon battlefield, or like a verdant wilderness. I might even add some shrubbery if I go that direction. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think? As my resident channel member, I'm gonna give you a final say because I could go either way, you know. The perks of channel membership. Decide what base what basing material is gonna be. Become a channel member today and get live stream contribution. You don't got sand like oh, where did you get the wilderness? I got all of that from all of my basing material is from Geek Gaming Scenics. You could find them on eBay. They have a web store too, like an online store. Geek Gaming Scenics. They're terrific. I love them. The basing material comes in like a plastic bag, so I found these plastic containers to switch them over to because they're literally in a bag that doesn't seal. It's not like a Ziploc. As soon as I opened it, it was just like, okay, I got to put it in something or else it's gonna, one of my kids is gonna come by and just dump it all out over the table. So I found these with a lid, and yeah, you know what? I don't have sand like Baal. I should. Those are the only two options I got though. And then I have this Geek Gaming Scenics PVA glue, fast drying basing glue. It's basically like white glue, like Elmer's glue or PVA glue, I guess. But it dries fast. It dries faster and it spreads better. Like Elmer's glue is very thick. When you pour it on a base, it just sits there like a clump. And this stuff works a lot better. Yeah, I love Geek Gaming Scenics. So check them out. Tell them I sent you, and maybe they'll sponsor me. Invade a sandbox. Yeah, my auntie has like cats, so she's got like a litter box. Oh, you know what? You know what? Do I have? I might have something. I might have. Would like? You know what? I have sand from Vallejo Scenics. I have like a sand. I do. How much of a how much of like a desert does it look like? Because I thought it was like more reddish sand, but this is like it looks like a desert, like a or like a beach. Yeah, they really do. I mean, I could always add like a sepia wash on top of this. It's supposed to look like a sandy beach or like a desert. So I don't know, that might be an option. Wash it in a reddish brown. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. First, I'm going to add some exhaust burn. purple, and then blue. Is it for selling or commission? It's not for commission. It's for selling and making content. The heat flamer trick. Yep. I don't remember. Was it purple and then I'm trying to remember what was first, blue or purple? Because I did it with the, I could just look up my Infernus, guys. Okay, purple at the end and then blue further up. Ooh, messy. That's okay. That's okay. This part might not be the best. That heat bloom. Oh man, it's such a cool effect. I also see these videos where the guy adds 3D printed fire effects for the guns. Blue, purple, and red. Gotcha. Yep. Those are like blast muzzle. What are they called? Muzzle flares. I've seen those. All right, let that dry. Yeah, look at the transfers. The transfers look really nice. All right, now we'll do the gemstone. Start with painting gems is always a crescent, right? So you always leave the upper right black. So the right is going to be black, upper right is going to be black, and then be filling in, yeah, green stuff world. They make a lot, man. I think I bought a light box from them. I bought so much stuff from them. I'm just using the triad, but I'm also going to add Troll Slayer orange to go even more into the orange. Just give it a little kiss. Mwah. Messed up. That's okay. Happy little accident. Just get some water on the brush and sop it up. Oof. There. Now, do I have my hard coat around to give it that shiny shimmer? Look at that. Hard coat. Hard coat. It's completely dried. Oh my gosh. Games Workshop, you did it again. Oh, I forgot to add the white. Gotta have the white first. You could use Games Workshop's whites. Korax white is their best white, but a true painting connoisseur will have one of these. Bold Titanium White by Pro Acryl. It's fantastic bright white paint. It is the peak #1 best product for doing a solid white. Vallejo might have too, but I really like Pro Acryl. Yeah, Vallejo's is good too. I think, yeah, I have actually tried Vallejo's. Vallejo has so much like white and ivory and off-white, and they're great. All right. Again, just give it a little kiss. Oh, too much. Perfecto. Cold white. Ah, I see. All right. I got the art coat. Now we're gonna give our gem that beautiful little reflection with the art coat. Perfect. Okay, oh, his eyes. We need to give him some eyeballs. The moot. I'm going to start with the white. And it's got a little bit of moot green on it already. That's okay. Autobots. Yep, they're good. I would jump to Blood Angels just for the color scheme. This is actually a part of the transfer paper. It's this beautiful like embroidery design. I would put this on like their vehicles, or actually I would put some on this dreadnought if there's more room, like up the side of the shoulder pad or across the front, but it's already got this sculpted on stuff. So I mean, the Legion transfer sheet, if you're like into painting and aesthetics, like all of these look so good. They look really, really nice. Blood Angels got the drip. Emperor's Children had too, but then they went all nutty nutsos. Oh my goodness. That was terrifying. Alright. Those details. Yep. I agree so much. The 30K like Captain and Praetors, and like this is a 30K dread. They don't exist in 40K. The transfer sheet, like there's so much amazing Angel stuff in 30K, and like in 40K it's just like, oh, just throw a bunch of blood drops on it. Like no, we want this. We want the drip. We want the fancy schmancies. Don't just throw a bunch of blood drops on everything and call it a day. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That bold titanium white under the moot green. Look at that. It like gives it such a freaking awesome glow. Almost like yellow. Yeah, you know what? Let's do a yellow blip. In fact, I have more 30k Blood Angels that I want to do because I feel like not enough people are doing 30k like old school Forge World stuff. Maybe that's going to be my niche. Look at that, y'all. Your boy did it. Oh my god. I feel so awesome. What a great finish to those eyeballs. Let's do a little dot in the yellow. Do a dot in the yellow, a dot of white. And it's funny, I was making like TikToks and YouTube shorts of the process of painting this guy, and I was going step by step how to do it, right? Step by step. And now I've just like skipped. I went from like painting the silver parts to just about finished. Man, I am so ecstatic with how this guy came out. Like everything is looking really good. Maybe not his back. Don't pay attention to that. Like you, me. I mean, the prices are too steep to have more than 130k. I know, man. I got the jump troops, the 30k jump troops. I got the ones with the crazy masks that have like grenade launchers, and then I don't have Sanguinius. I wish I had Sanguinius in that like that pose where he's flying down with a spear. God, that'd be so cool. But all I have is this guy. I think I've got a Praetor in Terminator armor, maybe, and then yeah, the jump guys, and then the grenade launcher guys. Yeah, they're daunting. Dreadnoughts are daunting, but once you do them, they're like, oh, I don't know why I was so afraid. You can't find one. Oh, like one of these guys with the jump pack. He's a Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah. All right, let's do it. We've been putting it off long enough. Let's make Baal come back to life. Got my trusty texture applicator, aka long toothpick. I think, as with anything, you just gotta get in there and do it. I've got a texture thing I can use to smooth this out in a minute. Just get it on the base first. Yeah, I think I'm gonna look up, like I'm gonna Google search like how to do a Baal world. Like the colors of the sands in the desert. Got some on his claw. All right. All right, Kool-Aid man. Dawnbreakers. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Lynx Lord. Thank you, thank you. I got this from somebody before. I got this back in like the 2010s when they first came out. And I paid pretty close to asking, but I bet you could get like a 3D printed version of most of this stuff now. especially like the Chinese or the Russian reprinters, right? Yeah, it's gritty. All right, here we go. Oh, Angel's Tier. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Angel's Tier. That's right. Wait, so what? Dawnbreakers. Dawnbreakers are the ones with the grenades, and the Angel's Tier are the flying guys. I think I've got some like yellow grass to do the dead grass also. Others way around. Angel's Tier are the grenade guys. And the Dawnbreakers are the flying guys. All I remember was I got it all in the same lot, and I was like so excited. And then I got it and I looked at it and I was like, well, I guess I'm not painting this because I was so intimidated. That's when I was like really not willing to mess up, especially like Forge World models. There's such a there's such a stigma when you paint Forge World models. Like you want it to be perfect, right? You don't want to mess up Forge World. And back when these miniatures first came out, I was like, yep, that's me. I don't want to mess up. So I'm just not going to paint it. I'll just keep it in a box. And then now, look at that. 11th edition is rolling out, and I'm like, I got to paint it. Otherwise, I'll never paint it. My son is going to inherit all these unpainted Forge World miniatures, and like I could have painted it, I could have sold it, I could have made money. So that's what this is. That's what we're doing, gang. All right. I should have brought a paper towel. You're right. I should probably hit up 3D printing services. Yep. I want to paint the Legion Praetor so bad, but we can't really throw money at it. Yep. For a non-army unit. I know. Exactly. All right. Scrape some of this spillage off. I had bought this paste to do like beach theme sand for for my Carcharodons, and it's just been like sitting, not being used for anything. So this is fun. Can actually use it for a desert themed army. Sorry. Well, he will inherit a treasure trove for sure. Yep, he will. He will. Hopefully, I can sell a bunch of it beforehand. But yeah, whatever I don't sell. It's so cute. My girls now are like 2 years old. They just turned 2 years old. I have twins, and they just turned 2 years old around Easter. And anytime I come here to work now, I'm in like a little corner of the living room. And anytime I come here to work, one of my girls inevitably sees me and she runs over and she tries to sit down on her little stool next to me. And she says, I want to work with you. I want to paint. And I'm like, oh, little baby, it's okay. And she's like grabbing for all of my my expensive models. And I'm like, please don't. It's okay. Please don't. So it's like I gotta find her some cheap orc models or something that she can pretend to paint while I'm working. But like she sets up camp right on this little stool next to me, and is so cute. And I'm like, I gotta remember this because one day she's gonna be a teenager and she's not gonna want to talk to me at all. So this is a very cute time of her life. Right, I kind of want to make it look like the desert, like shifting sands and stuff, but I don't want it to look artificial. And I want it to have some texture because I got to put that reddish brown paste down soon when it dries. It must be the best feeling in the world. She could paint the crayon Marie. Yeah, can't wait myself for that day. Ah, oh, Lynx Lord. You're gonna love it, my friend. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but it's like the best feeling in the world, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. All right, as we wait for that to dry, I want to share another tip. Most of you who've seen my videos have heard me say this, but a tube of acrylic black paint. This goes for like $4, maybe $5. I got this from Walmart. I think it was like $3.99, and it has so much more paint than a like a thing of Abaddon Black, right? Which is gonna run you $8, and possibly just like dry out. But like, yeah, I just squeeze some out from the tube, and my son's probably gonna inherit this too because there's so much that comes in the tube, you can't possibly use it all. So that's my money saving tip. Save the money for your minis. Use or go out and buy your acrylic paint from Walmart. Did anyone have extremely hard time painting their first chapter? I went through dilemma after dilemma. Yep. I switched so many times. It's like you paint a couple miniatures and you're like, yeah, this is my army. Then you realize I don't want to paint an entire army all in this one color. And oh, that chapter looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll paint that army. Then you get a couple miniatures and yeah, this is awesome. Like character models, right? Like I remember I was like, I'm going to be a Dark Angels player. I got the old metal Azrael, and like halfway through painting him, I'm like, I am not a Dark Angels player. I don't care for like painting green armor. I thought I would, but I don't. If you're lucky, you solve that dilemma pretty quickly before you invest too much money. And if you're unlucky, then you're kind of stuck with a bunch of miniatures. Oops, sorry again. This thing is like right up in my face. I am at 5% battery, guys. So as soon as I hit 2, I'm going to wrap up because I don't want to test my luck and lose the stream. I want to thank you guys for joining me. My next order of business after getting this guy up on eBay is to go dig around for that box of Bretonnian Knights because it's been a while since I worked on them. And I want to get them in ship shape so that I can film a promo. And if you want to become a Knight of the Realm, like Link's Lord and like all of my channel members, all you have to do is join my channel members and become a channel member. So that'll be pretty awesome. If you do, you could support me for as low as, I think it's $1.99 or $1.99 a month, 99 cents. It's like super cheap now if you want to, and it will give you early access to a bunch of videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of new long form videos and things that I think you might be interested in. And I want to thank you for joining my stream tonight. I really appreciate you guys. And can you use that for brush on primers? What is that, Prisgang? Can you use what for brush on primers? I'm trying to answer that question before I head out. Yeah, look at that. He came out great. Can you imagine tonight before I started, he had no transfers. He just had the red and silver and gold painted, the brace coats. And now look at that. He's done and he's ready for some fun in the sun. Oh, man. All right. I hope you guys have a great night. And thanks again for checking out the stream. If you're not on my Discord already, I've got a link in the video description. Head over there. And I hope you join us, the Great Crusade 2026. And we'll see you in the next one. Latest, players.